Hello everyone, welcome to Jupiter in the second house. On this video, I'm discussing the implications of Jupiter or Guru being in the second house of your chart, second from your ascendant sign. This is good also for Western charts as long as you have equal house or sign for a house system. If you are new to my channel, sub below. Let's begin. What then is the second house in your chart? It's your wealth, it's your accumulated assets, it's your family and your values. Jupiter will definitely emphasize these areas in your life, but in the Vedic system we understand that Jupiter is akin to a lamp, and just like a lamp will light up the brightest furthest away for himself, Jupiter aspects your 6th house of health and conflicts, lights up your 8th house of sudden events, and brightly lights up your 10th house of career and status. And who is Jupiter? Jupiter is Guru, guide, the divine knowledge that takes us out of this material world. He is a great sattvic and pure being who is a true, kind benefactor to all beings. Jupiter represents on the mundane level wealth, profit, education, children, husband in the female chart, and elder brother. But Jupiter also binds us socially together. He helps us to form societies for higher knowledge and higher wisdom. And he binds us to a feeling of security and safety in this world. Jupiter then is a cardinal for wealth, and he's in the house which indicates wealth. What will this mean? On the surface of it, it seems extremely fortunate, but in the Vedic system we know there's a downside here. And this is the downside. Jupiter is in the house for which he is Karaka, and this sometimes causes disturbance because he's not totally happy in the second house, because he's a liberator from material enjoyment. And this is the house of indulgence in material factors, naturally ruled by Venus, not a friend to Jupiter. But don't worry, Jupiter will definitely protect your wealth in this house. There are many famous charts of people with extreme abundance who have this Jupiter second house, and I personally have seen people come from a quite low background to material security with this Jupiter second house. But the problem is this: Jupiter aspects the 8th house of sudden events. There will be extreme fluctuations in your wealth. It's up and down all the time. But because you put such a store by it, not in a greedy way, but in a just feeling of security when you have material abundance, Jupiter is going to give you the ability to increase that wealth. And furthermore, he gives you opportunity and he gives you protection. So even when you go through real fluctuations in your wealth, and you will do, Jupiter brings you back up again from that low place. That is definitely favorable. Now sometimes in female chart this can even show marriage to an extremely well-off person or a family whose status is higher than your own. Sometimes that can be seen. Jupiter here will also indicate factors about your family values. They were quite spiritual, quite moral, quite good normally, and you take them on board and they are extremely important to you. You value those early teachings most especially, and they always help you. You always turn back to think, what would my mother do? What would my father do? And you take that on board to your heart. Second house also rules speech, so expect to have a very charismatic and attractive speaking voice with this Jupiter. This is the house of food and drink as well, and I've seen many people who are excellent cooks with this position. People who love to feed people who come into their home and have large dinner parties. All that can be seen. You just love to entertain and you enjoy dealing with food and drink. It may even get you wealth, some of you. But the negative side I've also seen. Jupiter here gives overindulgence in food and drink sometimes. There can be weight issues, there can be health issues from this, and a definite sweet tooth which you probably have to take care of. Let's consider now Jupiter's aspect, the first on the 6th house of health and conflicts. Without doubt, Jupiter's bright light on the 6th house will increase health issues for you. All of your life you are concerned about your health in some way. There are issues to be dealt with. But the good news, Jupiter gives you the best consultants, the best doctors, the best help possible, and you often overcome these easily. But Jupiter indicates, as I say, a liking for food and drink, overindulgence, and a sweet tooth. Diabetes can sometimes be seen by this position. And very often there's even allergies to certain foods that you may have to go on a special diet for. In addition, Jupiter will definitely increase litigation and sometimes conflict with the law. I've seen people with almost constant competition in their life with this Jupiter. But the good news is you almost enjoy it. You like it. You actually enjoy it when you have to prove yourself in some way. I've seen people who are the first person to raise their hand if a meal in a restaurant isn't satisfactory with this Jupiter, and where is the manager, they want to complain, because you are very much aware of injustice in society. And therefore Jupiter Jupiter aspecting this sixth house will definitely help you if you want to work in that area of law, of dealing with litigation. Now, Jupiter's aspect on the 8th house of your chart, his 7th aspect, is extremely helpful to you in some ways. He will increase the likelihood of wills and legacies being useful to you and family money coming your way. But if he is ill-placed and not well aspected, it can go the opposite way a few times, that you have conflict in this regard. But generally Jupiter is favorable here. Jupiter will give you good business sense, but he makes you a risk taker. My goodness. Jupiter makes you want to take the most enormous risks in business sometimes, and according to sign and karmas involved, it can pay off for you or not. Jupiter will give you a tendency to attract a good business partner too, and this can be extremely helpful to you. But expect that there will be conflict sometimes in some charts with spousal finances. Again, what you have to see is how well placed is Jupiter. Are the karmas favorable or not? If you're not sure about that, check the link below. I have a video with all of Jupiter's sign placements discussed for you in some detail. Finally, Jupiter's very fortunate 9th aspect is on the 10th house of career. This is supremely fortunate for you in your status in life. But what's going to happen depends on the other planets in your 10th and where the Lord has gone to what you will do and what your career status will be. But here's the thing, no matter what affliction you have, no matter what difficulty, even if you lose your job, Jupiter will open a new door. Jupiter will be the last minute saving grace that saves you from difficulties. He will just give you favor of superiors. He will give you new opportunities, new ventures all the time. When you are lost, he will show you a new direction. But he wants you to be dharmic in this area. He wants you to do good deeds and to help others. You often do your best work where you are guiding others. I've seen people who are absolute guiders of other people in their profession. That's their job. So when you are helping others, even working with children, I've seen also this, where you are with young people, this is absolutely favorable for you with this Jupiter aspect. And don't forget, Jupiter returns to his natal position every 12 years. So at that time, Jupiter will definitely help you in your career, and he will open up doors for you most surely. So remain optimistic in this area. Jupiter is bringing back good karmas to you to help you get higher status, many of you, most definitely. It's very auspicious indeed. Up on the screen right now, Jupiter in all the signs. Check that out to find the karmas of your natal Jupiter. If you are new to my channel, sub below. And coming up soon, more videos on Vedic Astrology. Goodbye for now, and God bless you all.